Greetings, beautiful people. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how effective is your authenticity really going to be, because you see, it is very important to be authentic, okay? But at the end of the day, even when you make YouTube videos, even when you do anything in life, you're acting. Everything you Google, you are doing the act of this. Even Google tinkle, urinate, doesn't matter. The act of, bodily waste. Everything's the act of. It doesn't matter. Just look something up and it's gonna say the act of. All right. You make YouTube videos, you talk about, authenticity, and these people have like big followings. All right. Are you really, what is authentic, right? What is really authentic if you're still performing the act of to even do a video, right? So this is why it's not good to point fingers and say and criticize or judge anybody, because you're still acting to some extent, okay? Everything you do the act of. Even crazy how people do it unconsciously, because some people have to point that out to you. They gotta be like, hey man, come on, why are you acting like that, man? You acting crazy, you acting this, you acting that, right? You go to work and you're putting an act, right? You're putting an act when you go to work. You may not even be having a good day, but you have to go in there and greet the customers with, exceptional customer service, give the best service possible and available to the customer, because it's all about the customer experience. So you are affecting the experience of someone else, right? So here's how I look at this, and this is going to be a quick, short message, right? If you want to do something, you're going to act, but you got to do it from a place of love, all right? The authenticity comes in where if you want to do something, you do it because you want to do it. If you do not want to do it, then you do not do it. Now, if you're doing it for reasons that are out of your control, that's not being authentic, because you see, there's always, just like there's different perceptions to things, there's a cause and effect to everything. But if you're in a position where you're not happy with the current situation you're in, then now it's time to come out with a plan. Because here's the crazy thing. See, we put a lot of energy, a lot of time. You see, this is why when you're at work, let's say if you have a position where you got a sales projection, look at the word projection, right? You got to look at it in a future tense based on a plan, all right? A lot of people who are in these conscious movements or conscious community or subconscious community, whatever you want to call them, see, they're in these situations where they'll leave their jobs because they say, oh, I already know that this is not, I'm trying to escape the matrix and escape this, but are you really escaping anything? So you go back into a place of complacency or comfort. And there's many ways to look at that. When you're complacent and comfort means that you have no desires, right? You are actually full, which means you don't need anything. But then what happens when you're too complacent and too comfortable? You tend to get lazy, and now you don't excel or proceed into the next level of where you need to be at. You see, there's no, desires and all that, you can disconnect from all that. See, but you do everything, you gotta have an experience here. The key is to not have any attachments. Just everything is, you're a passenger, okay? You're a passenger to everything. The same way you're being used as a passenger to everything because you're unconscious of it. But if you were conscious of it, you can use those passengers to your advantage, because there's a learning from every passenger that you allow in your space, okay? And this is spiritually, where I mean metaphysically or physically, all right? You could be at work and those people that are in your space are passengers telling you something, and it's up to you to know what is happening. Same way when you watch a video. Now, I've heard this saying too, where people will be like, well, Zigzag, you should be watching the videos that don't resonate with you, because those are the ones that are clearly trying to tell you a message. I completely agree with that, okay? But there comes a moment in time where you have to differentiate, because you're a judge and you're judging all the time. It's just there's a proper and an improper prop, like you got prop money in a movie. Was it real money or fake money? And is the real money even real money anyway, right? They'll say this is prop money. there's fraud money. But the money that we experience here to buy shit ain't even real anyway, you know. But I still love it. I still consider it love, right? You consider nature natural, but it's still an illusion. And even the word illusion, okay, the word illusion has many meanings to it. I made a video on the illusion of time, and some people took it the wrong way, but they said I was saying that it wasn't like time ain't real, we're projecting, right? And I got this from Zen's video. This is actually 100% true, and I'm gonna tie something to this. You emit, time is emit backwards, right? So you emit, right? Now, time is money, money is energy, right? You put your time into a job in exchange for your energy, right? You gotta tie all that together. When you're in a lower vibrational state, time seems to go slower. So it all ties into an experience. When you're having fun or you're on break and you hate your job, now time goes quickly, and then you got to go back to that lower vibrational state because the experience of that you wanted to be in went by too quickly. All right? So you emit a frequency, you emit a vibration. That all ties in with time. You utilize time to your advantage, but you could also create time. But that is all going by perception, because the illusion is you perceiving something a certain way. Some people perceive time differently than others. Some people will say, man, time flew. Some people will say, man, time went so slow right now. But it's all based on your experience. Now, you can do that for other people because you do that in a job. That's why they say this is the customer experience. And it's all about customer service. So even you making a video, all right, it could be a video that is trying to tell you something, which is why it won't resonate with me at that point. But it can also, now you're being a judge where you can say, well, it's not so much now that this video is trying to tell me something, it's just toxic. It's just like you would be a judge to knowing what foods to put in your mouth and what foods to not put in your mouth, right? See, food is information at the end of the day, but we also know what to put in our mouth and what not to put in our mouth, if it really is serving us at that moment or not. So some videos may not resonate with me at that moment in time, but it might resonate with me later, right? But it might never resonate with me because maybe the message is toxic. You get what I'm saying? So there's maybe some messages that would give you an illusion of separation, where in reality we are part of this whole thing together, everything and nothing at the same time. So if the message is telling you something about love being an energy or frequency that is not to be respected, what is the opposite of love? Is hate. See, even the word, people want to use the word hate and look at it and judge it in the wrong way, when the hate frequency, the hate energy, see, you're here to transmute energy. That's what you're here to do. You transmute. This is why you're so powerful, because you could transmute any energy. And then when you transform is when you die. You transform. But based on everything you've done here, your transmutations, your work that you've done here, you embody what you become here. So if you're always in a space where you're always in a job that's not doing anything for you, but you put your blood, sweat, and tears into your job, you sold your soul to that job, and you put yourself so much into it that when you go to sleep, you even dream about it. Because it's happened to me before. I've done so much for a job, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, that I'm dreaming I'm still in that shit. So if I'm going into a dream state, I trained my subconscious here based on my outside experience, and that's where my spirit is going. That's where, because my spirit is not stimulated, so my spirit is asleep. The key to this is to be inspired by something you do, and this is waking up your spirit. You do this by the choices you make outside here, where it all starts within. But if I'm deciding to eat foods that aren't in harmony with my chemistry of my body, then what am I doing? I'm distorting the chemistry of my body. When you have relationships, you have to have a chemistry with your woman. If there's no chemistry with your woman, you're not going to have a spark. And the spark is that sexual energy. Your energy starts from your root chakra, and then there's a chemistry happening. This whole happens within self. But you are not complete. You're not whole. Yeah, the hermaphrodite is whole, but you're not a hermaphrodite here. You're a representation of a masculine energy. There's no man or woman, but you're a representation of that energy, right? We are all women here, except the fall of man. I already talked about this. The ovaries fall and become balls, and the clitoris enlarges and becomes a penis. So we are like a distorted woman in a sense, because if you look at it, we don't even have functioning nipples, right? So we have parts of our bodies that aren't functioning, meanwhile the woman functions completely. We even look at the fact that a woman has her period as a bad thing, because they say, oh, when a woman fasts, you know, their period goes away. Now, the body is always doing something to keep you perfect. So why do women age slower? Why do women, you know, they stay younger, right? It's because the blood is filtering out. It's like when you eat toxins, the blood will release more blood, right? But when you're fasting, you're kind of like detoxifying, so the body's period kind of stops. But notice the moment you start putting garbage back into your body, then your period comes back, okay? So that's just balance that I'm talking about. But it goes back to the balance of love here in a relationship. Your woman is your partner. So you now need another half. And if there's good chemistry there, you utilize that to your advantage. But the thing is, when a lot of people have sex, they come from a place of lust. And when you come from a place of love, you can, there's so many different things that are, for example, you tell people drink urine. They look at that as like, yo, you fucking crazy. But there's certain things that, see, when you see eye to eye with your woman, you can create, and you could create more in this physical realm of reality, okay? You don't even have to move. There's tantra, yoga, right? And you can see eye to eye with your woman. Just connect your foreheads together, and she sits on you. You stick your phallus or your penis, or whatever you want to call it, in her, okay? You're gonna see the type of energies you're gonna create, and you're both on the same page, stage, age, whatever you want to call it, the ages. But you're in a moment in time. There's a specific point in time. Timing is everything, right? They say timing is everything. So if you're generating a certain energy with your woman at a specific time, timing is everything. You can both visualize, okay? During the new moon, right, where you're most powerful, you could connect with your woman. Those are things maybe you could experiment with her. Now, you're doing it from a place of love. Now, nobody utilizes this love frequency to their advantage. This love frequency is a tool that you use to your advantage. It's a tool, okay? The natural state is neutrality. But you can't, but you see, there's another way to look at this. You can't just walk around here just being neutral toward everything, because then you have no experience. You're here to be aware of how to utilize these energies, even the hate energy, okay? Because you could transmute, that's a strong energy. This is a 3D realm of reality. It's very dense. So hate is a strong, dense emotion. You can create from that, okay? You could create lust, because I love tits and ass. There's got to be something to get me going, right? So your woman looks good. You obviously wear her for that reason. You stir the juices up, get the energy flowing, and then you could transmute that and come from a place of love. Now, unconditional love. Does anybody really understand that? No. But there's tools outside of you to get yourself to understand that. Observe animals. Look at a dog, right? Something that we look over and really look at it as just a lesser thing, all right? You are, see, notice how the dogs, and then you're the master, right? The dog looks at you as its master. The dog represents unconditional love, and it is also a primitive, lower natured animal, right? You are consisting of 3 bodies. Your primitive, animal nature, human, which is where the heart, the solar plexus is, because you're a human here in this planet, right? Because you're in an earth. The anagram for heart is earth, and you have the higher mind. It's all about you moving your consciousness into the, not to say that the animal nature is bad, right? But you have to understand it, because if not, you're going to judge it. If you do not understand love, you're going to judge it the exact same way you would judge evil, what we call evil, or hate, or anger. And in reality, this universe is energy, and stagnant energy goes bad. You need to move energy, right? So You can't just be in a place of love all the time. You can't just be in a neutral state all the time. The neutral state is a state that you use. And notice how I say state of being. This is a mentality, right? When you're in a state of neutrality, this is where you can create from, but you can also judge, right? Because you're not biased to anything. You're not polarized. You're all and nothing at the same time when you're neutral. When you're in a space of love, you're in a higher frequency and vibration. You could create from here, but you need strong energies. It starts from the root. Okay, this is why even people who are spiritual, they want to have spiritual experience, they want to open their third eye. Even opening your third eye, all right, could be detrimental if you're not in tune with your lower natures. This is why you have to watch a video and properly tune in, because if you're not tuned in, you tune into everything. I don't care. See, there's people who will say, I'm in nature and, you know, I'm more spiritual than you, I'm more advanced because I'm in nature. See, you could be in nature and you will still give a distorted message or not really a proper message because you're really not in tune with nature. You could be in nature and you'll feel bugs biting you. You'll try to sun gaze and all you're gonna do is squint at the sun because you're not even properly eating when you eat food. What makes you think you're properly eating or absorbing nature or even sun gazing? Do you know there's a proper way to sun gaze? By blinking. Okay, it's kind of like photography. You know, when you take a photograph, it blinks. There's the same way. You could look at the sun and you blink. Whenever the sun is in its most strongest point, which is like the most high, that's why they call it the most high. People don't see that it all correlates with the same religion, right? But I even look at religion, some people want to look at it with hate because it's like it's you know, I'm a sovereign being. I'm sovereign in Spanish, soberanía. Stay sober. And the way you stay sober is keeping your body clean, right? Because you're always under an influence. Whenever you watch a video, whenever you eat food, whenever you listen to something, and you're around certain people, those are all influences. Because that's why when you eat food, the only thing you can actually feel as a stimulant is either coffee or alcohol because it's a stimulant. But if you were very, very clean, you would feel the slightest stimulant, which would be you even feel the energies from eating an apple or even eating meat. See, you do feel it, you're just unconscious of it. See, this is why when people eat meat, they feel depressed, they feel all whack, they don't feel good. Because the animal might have went through a certain experience and you just took that energy in. You can't kill energy, you can only transfer it, right? But then again, you can utilize the energy of the meat, or let's say if you eat cheese or whatever, right? You can program it to whatever you want it to. It's a dense matter, you become what you are, right? You could transmute it, but nobody really knows how to do that. But this all comes in with magic and utilizing your imagination and your creativity. But this is going to come down to belief as well, because if you don't believe in what you're doing, you ain't going to accomplish shit. You could be like, I'm going to try it, but you don't really have your full belief into it. Why do you think religion talks about faith in God? See, they want you to put the faith in something outside of you. But if you put the faith in yourself the same way you would put it in God, man, this is where you would really empower yourself. It's all your mental state. But it all comes from a place of love. You can't create from hate, fear. If an animal's chasing you, your body's chemistry changes, right? You start to, now the blood runs, it goes into your limbs because you're going into a fight or flight. Same way when you're stressed out, you're not in a place of love, right? This is why it's good to be aware of the environment you're in, the videos you're watching. If somebody's telling you that love, okay, love is you were created from a space of love, okay? But in reality, okay, what you naturally are is neutral. Neutral. You're everything and nothing at the same time, including what you would call low vibrational, evil fucking energies. You could have been birthed from a woman that got raped. So how is it to say that you go back to love? You don't go back to love. It's an energy that you're tapped into, that you tune into. Okay, you tune into it. See, if you study blood cells, DNA, it's in harmony. They all create and come from a space of love. This is how that chemistry works. And it's working within you. That chemistry is working like that within you. But if you don't tune into that love frequency, okay, this is where you start to create a stressful situation for the body, and you have this ease. But everything is balanced, and I know I went all over the place here, but it's okay. It's okay. If it's meant for you to watch this video, it's meant for you to watch this video. And my disclaimer here is I respect everybody who puts out videos. I respect the energies everybody puts out. But don't forget, what you speak is just your perception. Because don't forget, we are all planets. You know why? We are all a separate world. The anagram for heart is Earth, and we all have a heart, which means we all have an Earth, which means we are all walking fucking galaxies and planets and universes. You could look at it as a whole universe, because the Earth, the solar plexus, and then all your organs are all the other planets. So you're literally a walking universe, a walking galaxy, right? So we all have different constellations, right? We were all born in different points in time. So we are all walking planets, and we all are one fucking galaxy, just experiencing this reality separately, but we are all still connected in that way. Why do you think that sometimes when you think of people, they might call you, or synchronicities happen? I don't care how spiritually or there's people I've seen in videos saying, oh, you know, time is this, and you know, the matrix that. But even people who are in this spiritual movement, they say, oh, I had a synchronicity. Right. Everything ties into time. Everything ties into time. All right. It's just all about how you use your time here. Use your time to your advantage. Right. You can create time. Your mentality, the energies you're putting into what you're doing at that moment, you'd be surprised. Even in the morning when you're rushing, and time, for some reason, you just end up being late. But when your mental state is where you're taking your time, it's working in your favor somehow. That's a crazy ass fucking way that I've noticed how things happen. Like, this is a perception. Main message here, all right? Love is something to be respected and understood the same way you respect hate and evil. When you're in fear, you're in your most present state. You're being chased by something. Or let's say I made this example before. If I'm driving and I'm drunk, I'm afraid of getting pulled over, right? Now I'm more aware of the signs. I'm aware of everything around me. I'm following the speed limit. But when you're not drunk and you drive, you just drive like that, you text, you're more prone to having an accident, right? Not to say that driving drunk is good, all right? But it's just noticing that you're more present because you're in fear than when you're not in fear. Sometimes we just become too comfortable. So balance. It's zigzagging. That's all it's about. All right? So I love everybody, okay? And I'm coming from a space where I'm saying that genuinely, okay? There's people I dislike, but that's another video. All right, that's another video. But you have to have a balance. There has to be a balance. All right, there has to be a balance. And I don't even want to go too deep into that topic because that's gonna make the video very long. So we'll talk soon.